Hello and welcome to another side play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Khemia. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want the most up-to-date version and or to help the people that make this game, then you can go to Patreon, which is $3 a month. So, between Let's Plays, they did an update, which is why we're back here, of course. Which, I don't know, it's like, I'm not sure if they're using a different engine or something like that, but it does seem a bit different. It did kind of get rid of all our saves, but, yeah, we'll get back to it. I'm looking forward to more Nefru, I'm not drooling, and maybe other jackal men? Or jackal ladies. We haven't seen any jackal ladies. Anyways, enough of me being thirsty for men that look like him. Is there anything else? No, I think that's everything. Reset face. I'm not a Hona wolf. And begin. Mercifully, I'm left alone by the voices. That is, until I hear Ahem. Exiting stretch drive in 10 minutes. Prepare for a security check and royal escort. They also added, like, minor animations you might have seen in the background. After some quick grooming in the lavatory, I step out onto the deck with Nefru and Brunus, looking out the windows. No longer in the stretch drive, the nauseous bending of light is replaced by a massive planet below us. Its atmosphere, full of dust, is clearly visible, hovering far above the rocky surface. I know something or two about, being in a place full of dust. I had to seal the doors and shit. Still, I'm wary of any sudden movements, half expecting an abrupt descent into the globe below. At least, until Nefru tells me we're waiting for security clearance. It's weird that they all have just 4 fingers. Also, how does he do things with those short nubs? It's then that I'm able to have a good look at the planet below me. I stare, not quite believing where I am, despite the tortuous lead up to this moment. The idea of living on a planet has always been an alluring idea to me. I mean, I guess these guys live on a moon, but I don't know. Like, how does Adastra have... Like, how does it deal with gravity compared to, here? The planets are moon orbits, and Chorus is uninhabitable. A handful of banished wolves that live there need to wear special spacesuits to protect them from the elements and unbreathable air, while they mine the outside the bases. Even then, or if they come back, their bones are left misshapen, muscles torn, organs damaged, and cardiovascular systems ruined due to the much higher gravitational pull of the Chorus. I know I don't have to worry about that here, despite Khemia being roughly 12 times the size of Adastra in terms of surface area. But maybe Adastra's is a lot more dense on the inside so that it has more gravitational pull, I guess. One of the many aspects of Khemeian culture that drew me in was the persistence of jackals to explore and, to an extent, tame their planet. For millennia, before Khemeians even thought of themselves as Khemeian, they built civilizations at the edges of polar regions on their planet, living off the steady source of melted ice. The lack of water and intense heat at the equator had kept the planet's middle mostly barren. Then how would they... I guess they could, do risky travels from, between poles. The axial tilt of Khemia was really the only reason intelligent life was able to develop at all, with the rest of the planet populated by mostly underground dwelling insects and small but plentiful robust vegetation. Most Khemeian civilizations pre-Galaxias were almost constantly at war over water between the aptly named water kingdoms of that period. Now, though, as I look down at the beige-colored desert planet, I see evidence of Khemian civilization all over the surface, even from this distance. Lines of patterns, unnatural in the universe cover the entirety, even its parched circumference. I can read. I don't know, it's just like, update, I want to read. In the end, jackals had been able to terraform their entire planet, and as a Luxan, I envied that, and it had me fascinated about what Lux and Adastra could be. Oh right, isn't Lux supposed to be like a poor mining region in Adastra? I've seen it plenty of times in photographs, but to see it in person reminds me how much I've wanted to visit this planet. I mean, I'd like to visit that planet, but for multiple reasons, the one in the middle being a chief thing. I don't know. Like muscular, sexy jackalmen are just surprising. I have such few things of them. I've only had about 4 commissions come to mind of me and jackalmen. Anyways, but there's a tinge of sadness in this moment, as I wish that this was all under different circumstances. The stresses and exhaustion blunting the excitement. Enjoying the view? I turn to see Nefru watching me as I stare at his planet. Yes, I forgot how massive planets can be. I remember reading that exploring beyond the poles seemed to be insurmountable as spacefaring for Khemians at the time, or as insurmountable as spacefaring. This is true. One of the main hurdles during the unification of Khemia was its sheer size. I believe it took a century longer than Adastra to achieve. Yes, but weren't Khemian methods largely peaceful, utilizing diplomacy over force? Hey, I don't know what that was about. Hey, that's right. No offense, but I'm surprised they taught you that. I glance around the deck, noting that Amicus and Vetrius have not yet joined us. They don't, but I supplemented my teachings with Khemian records, and I was able to fill in gaps. Good on ya. Boy, hopefully children these days are able to do that, with current events going on and stuff. Nefru makes a lowering gesture with his paw. Brutus pauses, looking around the deck, like I had before, lowering his voice to a soft-spoken rumble. Again, I don't want to seem like a condescending Khemian, but I know how Khemian viewpoints are basically quashed out of existence by our empire. I remember having to read Adastra, a history, back in school, and I'm not trying to be a prick, but man, is it? Well, it's super Adastran. He's practically shout-whispering at me. Just whispering like this, like Homer Simpson? Or I guess that was a bit more Marge. You know, you make yourself sound like a bigger prick when you get euphemistic? I don't know what that word is. I'm listening, but my mind is preoccupied with a sudden interest, along with how Amicus and Vetrius might react to me speaking poorly about Adastra. I'm not afraid, knowing they'll be fine with it so long as it draws in Nefru, along with anyone else influential in Khemia, such as the high-ranking official like Brunus. It's legal to read Khemian counterpoint on Adastra, a history, unless one is given access to the restricted library in Varro's University. Boy! I mean, while I do like wolves, woof. Even then, those who read it are expected to treat the records, especially ones involving Adastra and Khemian interactions, as lies, which I then had to compile in an essay on why they are false, but I think it was worth it. You read Khemian Counterpoints? By Hathrotep? I believe so. The one that matches its sections to Adastra, a history. I smooth the paw down my mane, fidgeting with it even though I made sure it was in place earlier. I might need to lower the volume just a smidge, because it reset all the thingies. Boop. It's easier to, read when stuff. Are you, fans of her writing? You could say that. It's got some real important information in it. I imagine it's very intense read for an Adastran. It's certainly shocking, but at least the counterpart isn't blatantly biased. So I'm forced to consider that much of her history omits and alters the narrative. I feel filthy saying such things about my home moon, but I'm not fully lying either. I'm hoping to receive lessons in Khemian language in my free time while I'm here. All books and media with any Khemian in them were destroyed by the Empire during the war. This is why none of the Khemian students or teachers born after the war speak of it. The big library in the city should have the translations if you need info before you learn. But I'm starting to see why Nephi likes you so much. He's always trying to lay educational folks, or really who can outsmart him. It's like, I had to read that. I was like, lay educational folks. Nephew, I have a master's degree. What the hell, Brunus? You can't ignore the patterns. Besides, you tried it with me more than once. I glanced at Nephew with a slight smirk. Really? I seriously doubt a graduate of Sabayet would like me for my Adastran grade education. Sabayet's probably where he got educated. It's certainly not the main reason, but you are smart. And please, forget my teasing comments I might have made about your school. Really, Nephew? Shit like that only makes it more embarrassing to be a Sabayet alumni. Sorry, it's habit considering it's one of the few things I've done my brother couldn't. Woohoo. Damn it, gamer. I mean, sorry. You can't look at somebody that looks like that and be like, Anyways, I still find it kind of sad that your whole motivation for that was to stick it to your brother. Of course. And to see Ram's face when he learned that I received my acceptance letter on the first try, after he tried several times over several years, well, it was worth it. Though I still kind of wonder, what did Nephew do to, make his father so angry? To be, in a way, banished. Are loyal family members not granted a spot? I thought all of you were educated there. No, acceptance is based on merit alone. I mean, my father, mother, and my elder sister attended, and being royal makes it far easier to prepare. Not everyone is capable. I see. Well, at least your brother has company if Aya didn't go. Oh, Aya has different ambitions. Ramosis, on the other hand, did not. He wanted to copy our father's path in preparation for becoming pharaoh. I mean, I was let in because of, my past. There's a good reason for it. Besides, you proved yourself quickly after getting higher marks than you. Getting the highest marks in your discipline. Also, your attendance was decades apart. It can't be compared, our attendance. Definitely not. It was little more rigorous back then. I'm curious about Brunus' statements, both about his past, but also him being accepted into a school above his merit. Were you naturally academically gifted, or was there another reason he did so well? The reactions tell me I needed to clarify the statement. Sorry, back when I was a pup, my grandfather paid for a spot in an elite preparatory school. I struggled at first, but later left at the top of my class. My motivation was simply to prove myself. Oh, got it. Yeah, I really didn't fit in. Only way to shut those snobs up was to outstudy and outsmart them. Honestly, Sabayet is the only place on Khemia where I didn't feel like I was Khemian. I paused. The unexpected statement, like a blow to the chest. I can sympathize with that to an extent, I think. We gotta find some time to talk after you've settled down in the palace. You can tell me more about the school. I'm sure they brag about you being a former student now, eh? Another, much more painful blow stings beneath my sternum. And I can show you around the city for your research. Neferu would take you, but you know, he's gotta be more careful in public. Actually, aren't you famous now, Nef? If you mean more recognizable, then apparently so. Photographs of me haven't been shown to the public since I was a teenager during the family portraits. I imagine it's hard not to recognize me after what happened on Adastra. Yeah, I was like, oh, are they talking about getting kicked in the balls? The slide of the hydraulic power door announces Amicus's arrival. Scipio, a word please. I stiffen up and immediately turn around and walk towards Amicus, who beckons me into another area of the ship, where he had been rooming with Vetris. The very idea makes me want to chuckle, but Amicus doesn't seem too bothered by Vetris's constant waves of hypnomanic chatter. Yes, Your Majesty. He looks stern, but I guess, you know, he is a stern guy at this point, kind of. Maybe? I don't know. When I reach him, I bow at the waist, slightly beyond the required 70 degrees. Amicus waves away etiquette, like this once he decides you aren't an adversary, or a disrespectful person, but I've been told to continue doing it while in Khemia, for obvious reasons. Privacy in this room, please. I have been disabled by your Emperor for privacy reasons until you leave this room, Scipio. I haven't seen you on the entire ship, but I trust you're all going well? All is going well? Yes, sorry. I was working on my mission. Ah, yes. From what I just saw, it seems to be going fairly well. What was I going to say? Vetris makes a noise, like he's going to say something, and then we both look at him. And I just hope he won't say whatever he's going to say, because Vetris, thinking about his own words, must mean it's fairly... He shrugs. They shared beds. Damn, man. I wince, not because of what he just said, but because he practically screeched it. I suppose the noises and machinery of the ship drown him out, considering I haven't heard him since we were both on the deck. Really? That's rather incredible, Scipio. I'm still trying to figure out how Vetris knows that, but as long as they don't know about what led up to it, I don't care. Yes, nothing seriously intimate. We just want to be in each other's company. Even better, I knew that jackal to be a promiscuous man, but it appears he's also desperate for companionship. I have no idea how to take that sentence, so I stand attentively, wondering why Amicus is judging Neferu for something wolves do all the time. It almost makes me feel sorry for him. This time, I grit my teeth, focusing hard on keeping my expression neutral. Letting my emotions get in the way already? Already? Whose side am I even on? I feel sorry for someone who should know exactly what's happening here. Let him have his heart broken. I'm sure it's not the first time. I think of the endless, flat tundra surrounding Lux, the landscape of boulders and brown, dead-looking vegetation. A place where nothing's happening. Actually, I'm pretty sure there was a reason for his falling out with the royal family. I see. I shall continue with that part of the mission then. How was the ship for you? It was mysterious. I suppress a sigh. So little words for what might actually matter. We found some strange inconsistencies, particularly involving Khemian tech. I'm sure you've met Aham. I rub my left temple. Yes, I feel it's rather invasive. Is he not a spy if he's in her brains? I have no idea, but I'll be speaking with the Vizier about having him permanently removed from our linguists. Absolutely outrageous. Think about the implications of that, though. How in the world did they manipulate the lingua? Exactly. It's a metal orb that's less than a millimeter in size and is filled with an unknown liquid. No sibling has figured out how it works. Apparently, they can build everything the parents gifted us. But even better, constructing a faster stretch drive it defies comprehension. Yes, I've noticed this. It made me feel uneasy. It made me feel suspicious. If they're so advanced, why would they want an alliance with the siblings who have the most hurdles to clear? That is a good question. I would just think it's more of like, hey, like, two things. One, maybe it was something they put on the back burner and didn't think it was going to, like, bear any fruit. But then it could also be, like, parts... Well... wanting allies or, better relations with a warlike group so that they can be like, hey, don't go to war with us. Although Amicus wouldn't say primitive, that is what we are. The most primitive siblings in the Galaxias. Even the humans are more advanced than us, at least from what I've heard during the briefings. So I think trying to come up with an explanation. Don't they always emphasize galactic harmony? Everyone's told me that Khemians feel a duty to normalize relations between Adastra and the rest of the Galaxias. Vetrus bursts out laughing, but Amicus at least explains. No, that is what they tell their people to justify what they're doing. There are hidden motives every step we take here, Scipio. Understood. Do you have any idea what it might mean, Your Majesty? I don't, but if the tech isn't made by our own design, then I can't imagine the answer to be a good one. Oh, but if the tech isn't made by their own good design, I hate reading and just having episodes where it's like, I can't read too well. Something is treating them rather well, it seems. Amicus and I go quiet, glancing at Vetrus. Do you think the parents can answers the next time you communicate with them? Can answer. Let's just put that there, because that is a typo. Hell no. I'd never get a straight answer from them. The only thing they're crystal clear about are our orders. I see. So, I'm adding another task for all of us on this mission. Simply take note of any suspicious technology and record it. A small task, but it could be extremely important. Understood, Emperor Amicus. I noticed the ship becoming quieter suddenly, the absence of the whirling machinery and the droning air vents almost stunning after becoming used to it. I think we landed? No announcement? Maybe it's because we told Aham not to be present? Pfft, even wolves has figured out PA systems. Gods, I just hope it's not like this on all of Khemia, putting their damn state-funded, state-developed, and state-owned supercomputer in our damn brains. Amicus clears his throat after the outburst. Sorry, now we simply act as if all is normal when we leave this room. Any other questions or concerns? No. No, Your Majesty. Oh yeah, no, Your Highness. I'll assume that sounded disrespectful because that was just the way your voice sounds. Assume that sound... Now, you're both dismissed. We shall reconvene tonight. Remember, meetings are in the morning before breakfast, and in the evenings after dinner. Ugh, a meeting before breakfast? Ugh. Also, what is that thing? The first thing I noticed while stepping out of the ship is how dry the air is, kind of like where I currently am at. It actually reminds me a bit of Lux, minus the heat, the stark difference to the humidity in Adastra City. Still, it feels good after being in the ship's overly cool climate control. We're in a palace courtyard, the walls of which block off most of the view, but the glimpse of the dunes I get seemingly roll off into the distance forever. The capital city, Khemian, is it Khemen? Khemen, is invisible now, with the palace blocking the view. It's a fairly modest building, using angular and straight lines, but decorated in vivid paintings. On the wall next to me, I see the hieroglyphs carved into sunken relief along the top and bottom, and in the middle, various scenes of jackals and many other species engaged in daily life, nor rituals. I have the urge to run my fingers along it, just to feel it, but I have enough common sense not to. The monuments and statues are notably faded, stone worn down by time. Much like Adastra, Khemia had ceased commissioning more extravagant and decorative projects to honor the royal family through thousands of years earlier. If only we did that. I know there are even more impressive structures in the city of Arum, the most powerful kingdom in the pre-Galaxias Khemia. Skip? I jerk my head in the jackal's direction and notice that my group has moved several meters away toward the entrance of the palace. I hurry to Nefru's side. Sorry, it's just so different from the photographs, you know? Oh, I do. I'll show you around the palace later if you'd like. Of course. I see the smile that Nefru is clearly trying to hide, probably amused at my pup-like wonder, but I can't help it. The feelings that I thought were missing are now back in full force, at least for now, and I just take in the experience. The buildings on Adastra, much like the university and the Imperial Palace, are old, but they have been rebuilt and modified over the past several centuries. But everything here is truly old, maintained, but preserved. So much history here. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, much of the stone has been here in the palace for a millennia, which I would say is pretty old, but then I guess it's like, yeah, there's lots of old Egyptian stuff. It reminds me of what my instructor in architecture once told me, that long-lasting ancient structures take in the events and sapients around them, giving them more character than we ourselves have. Yes, Khemians very much subscribe to that philosophy. It's called Babe Kane, literally the building soul. Babe Ken. I filed it away, a word incredibly easy to pronounce by Khemian standards. I noticed that our envoy has stopped moving, and I almost run into Amicus's back. Are they not going to welcome us? I was told the Vizier would meet us at the entrance. Shit, always making our jobs harder. I glance at Brunus, but Nefru speaks up. Ram's making a statement, probably to show his reservations about the Alliance, or he's just on a power trip. Typical, but do your best to ignore any of his disrespect. If the Alliance breaks down, he wants it to be clear that it was due to the outburst of a wolf. That face right there. I see. Well, then we shall wait. I'm moving to the shade. I'm already sweating out of every pore. How do you think I feel? They'll assume I jumped into a fountain before they let us in. Should have gone groomed before he came, Vetrus. Well, I don't. Actually, that may have been a good idea. But then, I look too scrawny and malnourished. The facial fur is essential to my position as a scholar and instructor. It's like I'm drunk all the time. I don't know what's been happening the past couple of days where I'm slurring my words. I mean, I have been drunk, but I'm not drunk right now. I'm sweating heavily too, of course, And I wonder if this is part of what Ramosis wanted. While Nefru's short fur makes the heat more bearable, Brunus has thicker fur like us, and about to ask him how he handles it when Vetris asks something I hadn't even noticed. Say, what sort of technology is keeping that water fountain structure aloft? I had been enamored with the building around us that I had barely glanced at the fountain, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't know. You would have to ask an expert in the field. And what field might that be? I'm not sure. I see Nefru's confusion at Vetris' tone and question, and I want to tell my teacher to not make his suspicion so obvious, as Amicus had told us not to. Because he's like, oh, what's this technology here? Is it special technology that we're gonna steal? What field of tech is being used here? I'm very sorry, but unfortunately that information is classified by the state of planetary security. That seems kind of weird. Sorry, I suppose more advanced tech information is sensitive, which I'm sure you understand. Strange to display classified text so blatantly, and for decorative purposes? I step in at that point, having hoped Amicus would do so, but he's pacing farther away, clearly deep in his angry thoughts right now. Vetris, let's ask someone with better knowledge on the topic later, alright? I gave Vetris a quick bow before it turned to Nefru. Please excuse Vetris. His style of inquiring knowledge can seem a bit intense sometimes. We're just very excited to be here on Khemia. Indeed. But I don't want to be interrupted when I'm able to question a qualified jackal Scipio. My face burns, and not at all from the heat. Mortified, they have to correct my teacher only minutes after landing. Better now than in front of a vizier or fair, though. Teacher, remember not to use the word jackal. Khemians can be how many species? 15, and they make up over 60% of the population. What, jackals? Vetris isn't listening at this point. Instead, deeply inspecting a pillar, reading the hieroglyphics out loud in Khemian, and despite his fluency, his pronunciation is terrible. Terrible to the point that my lingua can't translate it. Brunus and Nefru glance at each other with slightly confused expressions before Nefru again tries to stifle a smile, and I can feel my ears grow hot. I'm beginning to worry that I have to supervise Vetris the entire visit, though I try to play it off with a smile, speaking lowly to the two Khemians so Vetris won't hear. You can see why Adastrans need training from an expert. He learned from books only, before the war. It's no problem, just as expected. But you are right. Maybe Adastra can set up some programs with native speakers if all goes well. Vizier Ramosis is now arriving to welcome the diplomatic mission from Adastra. A second later, the stone door lowers slowly, and I think with that, and us just being a wee bit over time, we're gonna call it. That, and also the fact that I seem to be able to read like a third grade level. Also, I just went to check how many pages this stuff is. Okay, I saw a ton of pages, and I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a whole bunch of things. But then it's like, oh, it seems like there isn't much. It's like, here's a black screen. Here's a slightly less black screen. Skull. Skull very close. That's too bad. But that's going to be the end of this side play. So please comment, because I like comments, you like, dislike, tips, tricks. Otherwise, if you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out other videos to help it grow. And please remember to spay your animals to help control the pet population. And if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, then you can go to their Patreon, where it's $3 a month for this and other games. And again, apologize for apparently me being like, I'm gonna read. Oh, I'm reading at a first grade level. And until next time, another side play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Khemia. Hyena. So thanks and see ya.